Hey guys, Mike here. So today's cult classic review is 1980's The Blues Brothers, starring John Belushi as Jake and Dan Aykroyd as Elwood. In The Blues Brothers, Jake has recently been released from prison, and he finds out with his brother that the Catholic home where they were raised is going to be shut down because they haven't got enough money to pay the rent. So the two Blues Brothers must get their old band back together to save their old home from closure. And so we have The Blues Brothers. So guys, this is another movie in this series that before reviewing it and watching it today, I had actually seen this one before, though I did watch it when I was really young, so I couldn't remember a single thing about it. But I did remember this movie being quite good, and I've heard really good things about the Blues Brothers over the years. So, what did I think of the Blues Brothers? So when I started watching the Blues Brothers, all I really remembered about it was that it had insane police car pileups, and it had something to do with music. Beyond that, I had really no idea what the Blues Brothers was about. But I gotta say, I was invested in this story right from the get-go. Literally, all it took was one sound effect, and I was already laughing my head off. It was the scene where the two prison guards are coming to take Jake away out of the prison, and they hit him over the head with a club, and it makes this overly cartoony sound. And it's just silly things like that which tend to get me sometimes. So, the Blues Brothers had my attention right away. And from there, the Blues Brothers just keeps getting better and better. John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd are phenomenal in this film. The two of them have great chemistry together, and they're each just insanely funny. And they each bring something a little bit different to the table. And the Blues Brothers is just insanely funny. Pretty much every single joke or funny sketch or just anything always had me in stitches. Honestly, I haven't watched a movie this funny in ages. And it's just such timeless comedy as well. You can't go wrong with a little bit of over-the-top humour, or a bit of slapstick, or some observational humour. The Blues Brothers pretty much has every kind of humour in it. Honestly, the most impossible task with the Blues Brothers is picking out the funniest scene, because there are just too many to count in this one. Though for me personally, I'd say some of my favourite scenes in this film is when everything's just absolutely absurd and going crazy, and the two of them are just taking it in stride. They get blown up in a building, they just walk away and just carry on with their day. They're crashing through a shopping mall, those are low prices over there. Just stuff like that had me in hysterics. Though as well, another funny scene, though it kind of does feel a bit tacked on, and the movie kind of would still flow the same without it, you just couldn't leave out. It's the scenes where Carrie Fisher is just trying to murder the two of them. As soon as I saw her, I thought, like, alright, this is a woman who's going to try and kill these guys. And I thought, what's she going to do? She's going to pull out, like, a silenced pistol or something like that. No, she pulls out a freaking bazooka. And you think, what's she going to do next? She blows up the building. What's she going to do next? She sets a flamethrower on them. And for the longest time, you just don't know why she's doing it. But still, it just doesn't take away from how insanely funny it is. Not only is the Blues Brothers insanely funny, this has probably got to be one of the best, if not the best, jukebox musical I've ever seen. Now, I don't know how many, or if any songs were written for this film, but every single song just fits so perfectly in this one. And the musical numbers are some of the best I've ever seen in a film. Most of these musical numbers just come out of nowhere, and they really fit in well to this absurd world that the Blues Brothers creates. Because they don't explain how they all of a sudden change costumes and their set is like a million times better. You just kind of roll with it, and it's just insanely funny to watch. And as well, I had no idea how many famous musicians were in the Blues Brothers. Ray Charles, James Brown, Aretha Franklin, so many other famous musicians. This movie is jam-packed with talent. Honestly, the Blues Brothers could have just gotten away with being a story about two guys trying to save their old home, and it would have still been insanely funny and an amazing film. But no, the Blues Brothers has to take it one step further by having some of the most insane car stunts I've ever seen in a movie. Because like I said, the Blues Brothers is famous for its car pileups, and you can definitely see why. Now, I haven't looked up the budget for this, but these scenes must have taken up a huge chunk of the budget. They probably could have just got away with this movie being made for like, I don't know, $2 to $5 million. And I probably reckon it was probably made for $30 to $40 million because of all the cars that they either blew up or crashed in this one. Just when you think they've reached the limit of the absurdity, it just keeps going and going and going. To the point where you just kind of give up guessing as to where it's going to go next. So guys, would I consider The Blues Brothers a personal cult classic, and would I recommend that you guys should see it? Honestly guys, there's not really much else I can say about The Blues Brothers. I absolutely loved this film, way more than I thought I would. I knew I was going to enjoy this one, but I had no idea how much I would. It's brilliantly acted, it's insanely funny, the musical numbers are phenomenal, and just the absurd nature of it all is just what makes this one so great. I would definitely put this as one of my favourite movies in this series, and I think I would put this into one of my favourite movies of all time. I could easily rewatch this movie over and over again. I just loved it so much. Honestly, if you haven't already seen The Blues Brothers, then what are you doing with your life? I can't believe I left it this long to watch this film. The Blues Brothers has got something for everyone, and it just needs to be seen by everyone. It's insanely timeless. timeless, and it's just an absolutely cult classic phenomenon. Okay guys, that's my cult classic review of the Blues Brothers. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Whatever you think, drop it in the comments below. Until next time, I've been Michael. See ya.